And I'm back at it again. Hey, how y'all doing? We're back at it again. I brought back Brother Richardson because I think he brought a lot of great things in our discussion last week. So I said, hey, let's have another discussion again this week. And he gracefully said that he'd like to come and participate. So let us go ahead and start the show. And Brother Richardson, with his papers in the background, is going to help us out. All right. Someone said to me before, and I brought this question to Brother Richardson. I said, just because you're blessed with a certain talent, does that mean that is your calling? That is the thing that you should be doing? That is the thing that you should naturally do all the time? And I don't agree with that. And I think Brother Richardson could come and bring some perspective today about that point of view. So let's go ahead and add him on.
Hey.
Brother, back at it again. Well, first things first, y'all. Hey, because I'm testing out a new camera, please forgive me if the camera Teddy Riley's on us, but I'll bring it right back, okay? I promise you I'll bring it right back. I won't look back and looking all crazy like, hey, it's your fault or anything like that. But Brother Richardson, I was mentioning, I was talking, let's talk about posture versus position.
Okay.
The term posture versus position. Talk to me about that. What's your thought process about that?
Well, a lot of times we get caught up in saying, I got to be in the right position. I got to be in the right place. I played baseball growing up, and I love using analogies and things like that. So just bear with me. Your position can be third base, can be second base, it can be center field. Okay. But as well as when you're out there, there's a certain posture you need to have. Your body has to be facing a certain way. Your hands have to be a certain way. You got to be ready to receive the ball at all times. Eyes straight forward, things like that. So your position may be center field, but your posture tells you if you're really ready to receive what's coming to you. Okay. There was a time I played third base and I was talking to the person next to me in the right position. I'm running my mouth. The ball's hit my way and it comes right past me because I wasn't in the right posture to get ready to receive the ball. So many times as people of this world and Christians, we're in the right position, but we're not in the right posture. And understanding what's going on, if God's ready to give to you and you're not ready to receive, you're going to miss it. So if you're in a posture of, I'm ready to receive this blessing, okay, but it's time for you to give, you've messed up. You've missed obedience. You've missed all kind of stuff. And so a lot of times, just because you're in the right place doesn't mean you're ready to receive or ready to give or ready to do whatever needs to be done. How many times have you gone to the right church, but yet you didn't have a mindset of serving properly? You just wanted to see. But he said, serve now. And so we miss those things because of the fact that we think I've done it because I'm right here in the right place. You're at the bank, wrong line. So that's the biggest thing for me when it comes to that. It's about not just having one, but having both.
See, I've been in a position where I thought that I was in the right place, and I told the folks in the church, "Hey, I'm ready to, answer my calling. I'm ready to be a significant member in this organization." And I got blown off like, "Dog, this ain't for you."
Wow.
And then that turned me off like, okay, so I come to you without animosity and with the full intentions to come and serve as much as possible. And you ignored me or you blew me off. How am I supposed to feel like a welcomed Christian? How am I supposed to feel that this is the place for me?
Wow. The truth of the matter is, Otis, is that I went through something very similar when I went to a church. I went and I accepted my calling. I said, hey, I'm here to preach. They said, okay, come back and see me next week. I mean, literally, that was the conversation. Okay, you said that, come back and see me next week. And initially it did. It kind of took me aback. And I'm saying, well, That was kind of melodramatic. You know, I thought it's supposed to be something big. You're supposed to be excited, you know, all this, but it really wasn't
Mhm.
that. And what I've learned in that situation is God said, be patient. He said, you're going to have to learn that people won't always accept you because I sent you. People will
Wow.
always accept you when I get you to a place. You have to be willing to accept that rejection. If necessary, wipe the dust off your feet and go to the next one. But when I've sent you somewhere, you may not get what you're expecting when you get there. But it's not about your expectation. It's about what I'm expecting to happen because of you, because I sent you. So you really have to be careful with that, because now you're talking about your emotions versus the Holy Spirit. You got caught up in your emotions, like who you think you is brushing me off? We all do
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
you know. But we got to quelch that. We got to be able to quelch that, because if you know for a fact that you have these gifts and you were sent to serve somewhere, maybe that's one of the reasons you're there for, because
Mhm.
that particular spirit exists, and you're going to help change that atmosphere. But it's also going to change you at the same time, because you got to work on you too, because you ain't arrived and perfect. You know, I think we all at some point in time go through those motions when it comes to that. That's where a lot of church hurt comes from, as they call it.
A lot of church folk, you said?
Church hurt. You know, sometimes
Church
people
hurt.
use that term. Yeah.
Ooh, what do you mean by church hurt? Talk to me about what church
Oh,
hurt is.
man, I've heard so many instances of this. Okay, so you know, many people use the term, and I don't know who coined it. I don't know where it came from, but basically, it's a situation where you go somewhere to serve or to worship, and the people or the pastor or some leader or somebody, they did something that hurt you, and you weren't
Mhm.
expecting it, because I came to a place of healing and I got hurt. I come to a place of healing and I got hurt.
I mean, but think about it though, Brother Richardson. Like, when people go to the hospital, they don't go
Mm-hmm.
to the hospital to go and damage that leg that's even more damaged.
You're
They
right.
don't. They don't go to a place that you're supposed to feel, that joy and caring and curing.
Right.
They're not going there to be broken down and destroyed. So how is someone supposed to rationalize that?
The best way I can explain it to you is that um, there are some very qualified people in a hospital to heal you.
Yeah.
There are. Okay. There are nurses, there are doctors, there are CNAs, there are respiratory therapists, there are x-ray techs, all those are there. Okay. But you also have some people who belong in the hospital bed next to you, who've gotten up and thought they're better and operating on folks too. You have to be very careful who it is that hurts you and where it comes from. Now, obviously, if it's the doctor, I understand. You know, I understand, and those kind of things happen. But
Mhm.
ultimately, our ultimate physician is God. So it goes back to something we said previously, where we put too much faith in man as
Yeah.
opposed to God. There's a reason there are malpractice suits, because
Yeah.
sometimes even those educated doctors mess up. In you know, we talked earlier about purpose versus purpose and position. What about the talent versus a situation where it's your purpose? If you
Hmm.
think about it, when Moses was called, he was called to orate, to go speak on behalf of the people to a Pharaoh. Moses couldn't speak; he was stuttering. He had an issue as an orator. He said, "You can't, not me."
Wow.
But God took a person like that and said, "Just you, yes, you. I'm going to use you and all that you think you can't do and show you that I can do within you, because all
Hmm.
things are possible. So if you just trust me and not worry about you, not worry about your deficiencies, where you are weak at, I'll be strong." But see, we get to the point where I figure I'm a great this, I'm a great that, and we get so caught up in self that it begins to become about me. I.
But people, the natural instinct of man is to protect oneself. They want to be here in the long run, them and their families and their close ones.
Okay.
People want to. Self-preservation is the number one thing in nature.
Instinct. Instinct. Yeah, it's instinct.
Absolutely, you're not going to go run in traffic because you know you will get hurt. Self-preservation is the number one thing. How is someone who's a Christian
Mm-hmm.
supposed to rationalize in their mind? Okay, I'm going back to what I spoke about last week.
Okay.
I'm going to go to this place of worship
Mm-hmm.
where people are probably sick,
Mm-hmm.
coming in there with that virus
Mm-hmm.
and spreading that virus each and everywhere. How is that person of Christian faith supposed to rationalize, I really want to be there. I really want to pray and be amongst the congregation, but I don't want to get sick. I may die if I go there.
But you know what? That's a whole different aspect, because now you're talking about a thought process of invincibility because you serve a perfect God, versus the fact that we have to understand that we are human, that plagues, that sicknesses, that things like that exist. And, you know, unless you specifically, and I'm very, very particular about this, unless God has specifically spoken to you and said, this virus will not touch you, okay? You operate as a human being that can be sick, that can be killed, that can be murdered. You know, look, that's no different than asking a Christian, well, since God's protecting you, why don't you run out in the street? He's going to protect you, right? Why would you go to a church, shoulder to shoulder, butt to butt, back to back, front to front, and shake hands and hold on and sing kumbaya, whatever you're going to sing, okay, knowing that this virus is real? You know, why would you test God in that aspect? Why would you tempt God for that? You don't do that. That's no different than the devil going to Jesus saying, hey, you know, the Bible tells you if you go ahead and jump off the thing, that your angels will take care of you. They'll come and take care of you, be good to go. No, you don't tempt God in that manner. Yes, you know, he'll protect you. He'll take care of you. But you don't go to those lengths and do that. Like I said, unless he specifically come to you and say, hey, you know, Brother Otis, I've set you apart from the people. You will not be touched by this virus. I need you to go X, Y, Z. Okay? And you have the faith to go out and do that. You ain't got to brag about it. You go do the work and let the work speak for itself. But I have a problem in a situation with the people who are saying, yes, we're going to bounce this COVID. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I'm doing this for God. And God didn't say a word to them about it. And that becomes a series of, unfortunately, agendas. And unfortunately, many have not been able to separate their agenda from their true mission of being called as a shepherd to watch over your flock. You protect your flock. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had a call that's coming in. That's the next guest that's coming in, but okay. I'm not worried. I'm listening. Okay. I'm all here. I'm all here with you.
Good. So it's a situation of, you know, we sometimes forget that purpose. Okay. And all of a sudden now we're gearing towards our talents and our things that we do. I'm a great orator. I know I can bring people together. But you also are called to protect your flock. And if you purposely put your flock in danger, okay, and you have not heard from God to do so, what would people think about Moses if he took him across the Red Sea and God didn't tell him to go and killed them all? You know, I thought it was going to work. You see what I'm saying? We have to be careful with this thing, man. We have to be careful as pastors, as preachers, as leaders. And I think I told you previously, I don't want that blood on my hands. I take that calling of ministry seriously, you know? And when I have issues of rationalization, I pray about it, because I don't want to just give Otis some information. It sounds good. It briefs well, you know, until you put it into action. And so I think that's the issue of the COVID thing, as far as, you know, people pushing these limits and want to prove their faith.
Yeah.
God does not need us to defend him. He can defend himself. You want to prove God? Walk in faith.
Some people actually mock those that bring common sense to this situation. Some people mock, like, so you non-believers, you know, doing whatever it is that you want to do, you know, you're not here in the place of God where I am with my flock. Some people actually mock those who want to use common sense in situations like this. What do you say about those who want to mock others?
You know, it's not much I really can say to them, Otis. And the main thing I've been doing in this time frame is praying for God's wisdom for all the people. You know, I have a hard time. I get sad, to be honest with you, when I see a situation where people who are called to this ministry literally push their own things on their people. And if I'm good at something, I don't need to put you down. I ain't got to come talk about you. You know what's going to speak for how good I am? Just me doing it. That's what speaks for my. I don't have to do. I ain't got to brag about nothing. I ain't got to talk about you being a non-believer. I'm a believer. I ain't got to show you tell you how great I am. You know, and that goes back to the humility conversation we had. You know, being humble. You can't be in a situation where you are turning off the people you're supposed to be drawing in. And so sometimes that conversation of accusing people of not having enough faith and you don't have this and you don't have that and why you this and why you that. I think Kirk Cameron, I don't know if you remember him, years ago used to be on TV shows on, I think it was either Who's the Boss or Growing Pains or something like that. Real avid Christian, okay? And he has these different series of videos where he walks to people and saying, do you agree you're a sinner? Do you agree that you're an adulterer? You agree? And he goes, so you mean you're an adulterating, sinning, losing this? He said, this needs to be saved by Christ. I'm thinking like, dog, that's a messed up way to go to somebody and present a loving God. Just bring up all their flaws. And that's not required of me. If I have great faith, I don't have to talk about how little your faith is because all you need is a mustard seed. That's what the word tells us. So what if I got a tree? My mustard seed been growing for a while. I've been working on it. My job is either to help you plant yours or water it. Okay? God will bring the increase, not me, not Chris. Chris can't increase nothing. That's God's place to bring increase. And so many times instead of helping to nurture, we go over, we dig their seed up, we throw it out somewhere, we crush it, we step on it. And that's where a lot of times we miss out on people drawing close because our actions are not lining up with the word. I can't hear you, Otis. I can't hear you, Otis. No, I can't hear you. No, you can hear me. I can hear you. Let's see. My earplugs off.
Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? Okay, good. So let's read some of these comments. Tia says, I always say that God gives us common sense and free will and great thought to do the right thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. You even have a denomination or free will Baptist.
Free will Baptist, what's that?
It basically is just that. God gives you free will. Man, let's not get too far into the denominations thing. Look. I
got you.
So the whole point is this: everybody has a different thought process of what they think, and it's more theologically based. But like I said, my basic foundation is this: as far as Christianity goes across the board, it's really simple. Did he live? Did he die for us? Did he rise again for our sins? If you believe that, we can talk, about our Christianity faith. The rest of it is going to be debatable in many cases because that's just human nature. And so as soon as we get off of that high horse of who got a better interpretation than who, who's closer to God than who, it's not a who shot John contest. We're both after the same thing, salvation. We are. And we can come to that common ground. Let's not lose that based on some things that, don't necessarily put us in heaven or hell.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As always, man, you bring in that information for us, man, that, some folks may say, everything's already predetermined. So why should I bother trying to be a good Christian or a bad Christian or whatever? Everything's already determined. I've got an expiration date. You've got one.
Mm-hmm.
How do you rationalize to someone with those thought process?
Wow. That goes back to people saying I'm born this way and things like that. So now the question becomes is, how do you even have a conversation about what's morally good if that's the case? With a person with that thought process, they don't want any accountability is usually what it is. They don't want anything to hold them accountable to anything. So if they say, well, I can do whatever I want, it's predetermined. I'm going, as long as I'm a good person, I can do this and do that. But now we're thinking about what's good. Because now your version of good didn't have to be my version of good. There's always debate somewhere. Okay. And I'm not a person, I can't put down Muslim. I can't put down atheist. I'm not going to. Okay. The job in my life is to uplift Christianity. And that goes back to our conversation before. Why are you spending your time down at somebody else? Okay. Now you're becoming an oppressor for what reason? Does it make you feel better? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're broken. Now you need fixing because you're not realizing what's happening. Okay. You're becoming a person that's against God's will. So if you're calling yourself a Christian, but you're misrepresenting, now what have you cost? How many people have you cost? Because a lot of times the people watching, you have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the thing of your child. Your child's watching you 24/7. Whether you believe it or not, oh, that boy watches you. He watches you cook. He watches you when you open your door. He watches you when you walk. And when we're away, they imitate those things. They imitate those things. They say, that's a good person. I want to be like that. Or that's the person I want to be like, whether good or bad. How do things get carried on from place to place, whether it's an abuser, okay, or whether it's a loving father? It's a learned behavior by watching, by observing.
Gotcha.
So I have to be very careful what I'm doing because everything I do, everywhere I go, everything I say is watched and scrutinized by my children. And when I call myself a leader, when I put myself in that position, the people of God are watching.
When you put yourself in as a leader, the people of God are watching. Wow. 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 You got me at lost words there. Like, okay. But it's sort of like, you know, Charles Barkley had said something a couple years ago where he said, I'm not a role model.
Yes, you are.
If you take the walk, your Christian walk, and you take that position that God called you on, you are a role model, point blank and period. Would you say?
Yes. As soon as you, whatever you profess to be, okay, they're going to look at you as a potential advocate for whatever it is. I'm a disciple. I'm sent to make disciples. Okay. How do I do that? But first, before I can say a doggone thing, how do I present myself to the people? Yes, I have bad days where I got to go back and say, God, please forgive me. Why? Because I'm human. I never profess to be perfect. Okay. And I think many a times that's where many people fall because I believe that one of Satan's favorite instruments is vanity. You get to the point where you started off humble, but now you done got so good at it. You dressed a lot. You look a lot nicer, more complicated.
I mean, my money is coming in. It's good. I'm wearing the flashiest stuff. I mean, you know, I'm praying. I'm a good pastor. I'm a good preacher. I'm a good, you know, first lady. I'm a good whatever. But you know, gold is so addicting, man. It makes me feel. I mean, look at the drip on me now. Why should I give those things up?
And you know, this cracks me up too. And it goes both ways. I never saw where God said, I want you to be poor. Okay, so first of all, let's get that out there. There's nowhere in the scriptures where it says, I want you to be poor and you're supposed to walk around poor with nothing. Okay? But at the same time, you're not meant to take advantage of people. Okay? Humility and power can coexist. Okay? They have to coexist. Okay? Because too much of either one is not a good thing. Okay? Too much humility, now all of a sudden you never really get to where you need to go to. Why? Because you always got yourself down. You've suppressed yourself. You suppressed your talent. You suppressed your abilities. You suppress the things that God said are great in you that I can use for you. Or you sit there and say, about Moses earlier, you say, well, I have this impediment or I have this issue, so you can't use me. I'm broken. Yeah. But those are the ones he wants to use the most because I can use you when you've humbled yourself and allow me to use you. Okay? And you got a situation of power. Since the very beginning, knowledge and power has gotten us in trouble. From the very beginning. Okay? and you get it, and it's addictive. It's a drug. It's this. You have to remind yourself. That's why the Bible talks about that thorn on your side. Constantly being on your side. It's a reminder that you're human. It's a reminder that you're not God. So when we have those are the reminders that we're not supposed to ignore. We're supposed to pray about consistently to God continue working on this portion because I know it's holding me back, but also it's to keep me human. You've been in medicine before, Otis. I know you were in the medical field.
Yeah, I was a medic. I was in nursing school. I was a medical officer,
Okay,
and I'm medical recruiting now.
there you go. So my question is this: when a person gets medication for pain, okay, the purpose of the pain medication is to alleviate some of the discomfort, right? But it's not to take it away
Mhm.
completely, right?
Correct.
Okay. So when you take it away completely, a person all of a sudden think they're okay, don't they? They think they can go up and get up and do anything. The pain is
Yeah.
gone. I can get up
Oh,
and walk.
it's bad. I'll tell you what, it is horribly bad when pain is actually gone. You
Yes.
actually need pain in order for you to know that, okay, medication is working, or to protect yourself from further damaging yourself.
Come on. That's the thorn in your side that I'm talking about. Many
Hmm.
times we use that power as a pain medication to get rid of the whole issue of the. Now we forgot about the thorn. The thorn is gone. I ain't even
Yeah.
worried about it anymore because I'm so hung up on this. I'm so drunk and high off this power that I ain't got time to remember that. And instead of making it better, I've made it worse. Now that thorn has gone into my side, it has got into my spleen and my kidney. I'm bleeding all over.
Yeah.
And then when the power finally wears off, you come back to earth and you hurting 20 times worse than you did before. That's what happens when we get too much of something, of a good thing, so to speak.
Wow.
That's what happens with many pastors, many leaders. You get drunk off that good thing and you forget all about
Like Jimmy Swaggart back in the 80s.
Wow, Channel 43 back in Cleveland. I remember that. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I have sinned. Yeah, I remember that. I'm not that young, but I have a good sense of history in that sense. So what do you say then to those who are prosperity, and this will be kind of like our last thing that we'll talk about. What about those that are into prosperity preaching and pastoring?
Wow, the prosperity message. Every time you turn around, they turn around and say, you're going to be blessed, you're going to have money, you're going to have this, you're going to have that.
Or
Um,
the I remember seeing recently there was this pastor that had the COVID-19 check challenge.
some
Where
great marketing. Some
what's
great,
that?
it's some great
Yeah,
marketing.
it's a great marketing tool. Hmm.
I, man, look, I'm from the beginning of me getting into ministry, I always prayed about that aspect of ministry. That is a very uncomfortable topic for me. I'm not going to lie to it.
Hmm.
That it's required for the church to have money to function.
It
No
does.
doubt about that. So tithing is a principle. It's not. It's a principle that God gives you, but to me, it's also a choice, like anything else. God's given us many principles and rules. You choose to obey them, or you choose not to. So,
Hmm.
so, or I personally don't think the marketing tool to get folks last, to take advantage of somebody in their weakest moments, to do things like that, I don't think they should be used, in my personal opinion. You know,
Yeah.
and that's something. Once again, and it really turns my stomach, to be honest with you. I have closed my wallet when I've heard requests go out like that in places before,
Yeah.
and I've not got bound up in it either. I walked away comfortably, knowing that I'm okay with God because I do what I'm supposed to do. And then there are many times where I've given even more than what the pastor asked for.
Yeah.
But because I believe God was using them in the right way, it wasn't a grab, it wasn't a money grab. And if you have a good sense, like many people do, you can kind of walk away from it. But there are many people who don't have a good sense, and they're relying
Yeah.
as a leader to do the right thing and guide them properly. And it turns in almost to a cult situation. You're leading them down a hole, and you're directing them down there. You ain't even jumping down in it yourself.
They're
So,
drinking the Kool-Aid. They're drinking the Kool-Aid, basically.
yeah, no, what they've done is they're drinking their own Kool-Aid, but they're giving you a different one.
Oh.
And it's a bad situation.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I mean,
It's a bad situation, but money is always, what does the Bible say about money? The love of money is the root of all evil.
mm-hmm.
Money, and that's misquoted many times. It's not the money that's the root of all evil. The love.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
Exactly. The paper itself is irrelevant, but your desire for it, what you won't do for it, what you will do for it, where you've gotten yourself to a point at. So going back to what we talked about last week, and like I said, we're closing out. Your relationship with God. You should desire God, more than sin desires you. What we talked about last week, right?
Yeah.
When you wanted to marry your wife, when you decided you wanted to go talk to her, whatever the case would be, you laid it on thick. You went to go holler at her, you talked to her, you spent time, you learned out what her favorite color is, her eyesight, you did all, you mapped out the plan. Why are we any different with God? How much do you want to know about him? Do you want to know what his desires are? Do you want to know what his mood is? How is he today? What's going on? Use this time to get a good relationship. I guarantee if that relationship works, everything else can fall into place.
Yeah.
I'm not, you won't go through things. I'm not saying you won't have hard times, but you have a comfort in knowing that it's in the right hands. And that's where my faith is. Putting it in God's hands, not leaving it in man's. Not trusting the man to do it, but trusting God to do it.
Brother Richardson, as always, man, you know I'm going to ask you to come back again another time, right?
Any point in time, we can look like for me, this is just us conversating, having a good time. So it's no big talking about God. I can do this all day long.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to come back again, probably next week once again.
Whenever
30 minutes of just talking with you, and you of course sharing that information with those who are tapping in as well is something that I'm sure people really appreciate.
Praise God. I appreciate you, man. I bless you. God bless you.
God bless you too, brother. I appreciate you, man. We will talk again, okay?
Good.
All right. So, Brother Richardson brought it again. I'm going to ask him again, probably come back again next Friday. I like this. Just good conversation. Just sharing information. I'm going to probably ask another gentleman to join us on the discussion as well. So I really appreciate y'all checking us out for, a shorter version today. And we will talk again. And as I always say, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of others. Peace. Brother Rich, I appreciate it. I got to run right now. I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right now.